Good night. Well, it's coming to 10 o'clock. Just came back from swimming. I think today is my record. I made 5 videos in one day. I think my record was 4 videos in one day. I did 5 videos today, guys. So today's your lucky day. But this video will not be long. It'll be maybe 45, 50 minutes. Are you talking about CFL? No, forget enough about the CFL. The CFL is never gonna get rid of the American talent. So I'm not gonna waste my time talking about the CFL. They're never gonna get rid. Yeah, I'm never gonna get rid of the American. That's never gonna happen. So I'm gonna go back to talking about the more important things in my life, which is my book, obviously. I made 2 CFOs for you guys. That's good enough. We got I'm eating hamburgers. Why do you have it in tin foil? Because my stepfather doesn't want me to eat downstairs, so I made my burger in the kitchen while he was in the room, and I put it in the tin foil and I put it in my bag. Yeah. Alright, that's funny, I know. So I can eat downstairs, right? Amazing burger. Alright, you think the world's impressed with their unique? Yes. As I'm more entertained reading their unique than I am even the proposal. The proposal was a New York Times best-selling romance novel. It sold 1 million copies. I'm more hooked reading their unique than I am even the proposal. So I know you guys are obviously hooked, but I know most of you guys, yeah, even though their unique is good, Ivan, it's not Zane's. Yeah, it's not Zane's. But there might be some fans who think their unique is just as good as Zane's, obviously. Obviously, right? I don't think it is, but I mean, yeah. Yeah, when I read these books, the characters jump out a little bit, but they feel more dry. My book, they come alive on the page, obviously, more. So I haven't had a good, don't hate him, yeah. All right, do you think the book editors in the business are impressed by your book? You mean the best book editors who work at the big 5 publishing houses, you think they're impressed with my book? Yeah, I think they are. As my stepmother told me, Zane's is #1, which means it's better than all their books, obviously. Are the best editors in the business talented people? Yeah, they are. They know how to fix up your manuscript. They can see from your manuscript what's working and what's not working. I don't have that gift to do that. I mean, can you fix someone else's manuscript? No, I can't. I don't have the gift of editing. The only way I can fix your manuscript is if I write a totally brand new book myself for you. That's how I fix your manuscript. But I don't have the editing gift to edit people's work. I just don't have that kind of gift to fix stories. I can't do that. That's not my gift. Whereas the best editors in the business, they have that gift to fix your story. They know what works and what doesn't work, obviously. But because they don't have the gift of God, even when they edit the best novels, the best-selling novels, their books still feel more dry, and whereas my books come alive on the page when you read. I shouldn't say no, I am saying yeah. Because I guarantee you, all you editors out there who worked in the big 5 publishing houses were shocked when you read Zanis. Yeah, we were shocked, man. It's not normal, Ivan, man. Your characters come alive. Like, how the fuck you do that to get that, guys? Like, it puts our books to shame. like our best selling books that we fucking edit, Ivan. I know. Because even though they edit those books and make it better, you read it, they still feel the characters still feel a little bit dry. They don't come alive on the page like my book. Don't hate him, saying, yeah. They don't have the gift like me. Don't hate him, saying, yeah. Would you ever let a developmental editor fix your story? No. No. Why? Because I want my book to be 100% my DNA. I don't want these earthly people ruining my heavenly story. There you go. Don't hate him, saying, yeah. For my book, the only thing the editors would say, they would fix up, yeah, Ivan, your book is amazing, but like you have some stiffness in it. You gotta polish up some of your stiff writing. That's pretty much what they would say, but your story is amazing, Ivan. Yeah. Because Zane's is the kind of book, if you tamper with it too much, you can ruin the story. Obviously, it's too good of a story. I would never let an editor touch Zane's. Never let any development editor touch my story. Zane's is special. I don't want anyone to read my story. There you go. Yeah. So I do have an ego. No, it's not about my ego. It's about my passion for my story. It's more about the passion. I'd like Zane's such a special story. I will never let a development editor touch my story because I'm scared if they touch it, the quality, the vibe, the vibe might be different. Because they might add dialogue, and then when I read those scenes, the characters no longer jump on the page anymore because those guys don't have the gift like me. Don't hate him. Yeah, I'm scared about that. They don't have that gift like me. Don't hate him. Yeah, I'm scared about that. And my story is amazing. I don't want anyone to ruin that story, man. And this hamburger is good. I think I might make more tonight before I go to bed. Fucking big hamburger. That was really good burgers. Are you going to bath this, Ivan? No, I'll watch the show with you guys, have a few smokes. And I might just lie on my bed and just watch some Briny Durfee, Sam Shamoon, and a little bit of Sam Shamoon, and I'll go to bed. I don't know. Alright, do you watch all of Sam Shamoon's videos? No. No, but I tune in here and there to some of his videos. Sometimes I might peek at maybe an hour of his videos, but sometimes his videos can be a bit boring. He just goes through scripture. I like it when he talks to people. That's when it's interesting. They ask him questions. That's interesting. When he just talks, sometimes he makes like 4-hour videos just like going over the Bible. It can be a bit boring. That's why I don't watch the whole thing. Obviously, there's a few times where I watch the whole thing, but I don't have an attention span to watch someone speak about the Bible for 4 hours, man. Sometimes he makes 4 or 5 hour videos. I can't watch all 5 hours. That's crazy. Some Sarah. Alright, man, you must have an ego, man, to not let any developmental error touch your story. I'm not saying the developmental errors can't make my story better. They can make my story less raw and more professional. I get that, which is true. They could make it more professional. But because they don't have the gift of God like me, I'm scared if they touch my story and they start writing all this dialogue. I read those sections and I get a different vibe. The characters are not jumping on the page anymore. They feel more dry. Like, I'm scared about that, right? Because I have the gift to make my characters jump on the page. I don't know how I do it. It's a gift I have, obviously. Oh, See, as for their unique, the characters on page, yeah, if they're unique, the characters on page 2, I know. They jump on page 2 for their unique. Because I have the gift. These other books, the characters jump on page 2, but a little bit. Like my book, they just like come alive on the page when you read it, man. Yeah, they do. Yeah, even their unique. Yeah, even for their unique characters jump on page. How the fuck you do that, man? It's a gift I have, guys. I don't know how you do it. It's a gift, I'm sorry. I have 6 milks left. I'll save 3 for tomorrow morning. That way I have at least something for the morning. But I mean, if I don't get my check tomorrow, my stepmother doesn't give me $12 to clean the house, I have no smokes, man. I'll be a bit depressed, obviously. I only gotta wait 2 days though. I managed to pull it off for like almost a week, having a pack of smokes every day, man. Yeah. I'm sorry. And those burgers were good, man. I might have some more tonight before I go to bed. Yeah. All right, eating bad. Yeah, this week I'll just cheat. Eat the junk food. Like tomorrow, if I get paid, I'm going to get my slices. Saturday, no. And Sunday, when I get paid, I will get slices at Bob's. And starting Monday, I'm going to do a thing where I just eat one meal at nighttime. I don't eat breakfast. And I'll go on the treadmill at 4 o'clock. And I go swimming 7 days a week. And that's how I burn more calories, obviously. I lose the weight, obviously. Tomorrow I have to go to the Waffle office. Give up my information, yeah. I need the money, man. Like the $200 in these is not enough. It's just enough money for me to get a pack of smokes for like 10, 11, 12 days, but it's not enough for me to say $200. You can't save money with that, right? You need to be making like your $700, $800 to save money, obviously. Yeah, I mean, once you show us very unique, I already see a mass reason. Like, yeah, you can picture the scenes in the movie. Yeah, I mean, that's an amazing start. Start to your story. Yeah, it is. Dawn is exits the airport and she takes a cab. She meets Megan, and then she talks to her parents, and then Meg does her hair for the interview, and they talk about their boy life and everything. You get some history with them. So I already gave you information about their boy life and everything. It's a romance story. That's why I introduced the boy topic. And I gave you hints and clues that they're besties. They text each other about everything. Not everything, but like everything they let each other know. So you know they're besties, obviously. Obviously. And they love each other, they're besties, and then that her Meg betrays Dawn. Look at an amazing story. But I'm scared when it gets to like the scene after she meets Josh. Like, how will the story progress there? Will I pull it off and make a right and entertaining story? I hope so. I'm trying my best here, man. But yeah, writing books is even a little. Is there unique a bit hard for you? No, it's not. Like what I showed you, I wrote it with ease. But it's tougher to entertain with romance because there's not much going on. It's just everyday lives of people and drama. That's it. So it's tougher to entertain compared to fantasy. Fantasy is more difficult to write in terms of building a fictional world and make it believable in that sense, obviously. But it's easier to entertain because you can put action scenes in there. You can have a villain, a magic system. It's easier in that sense to entertain with fantasy. Whereas romance, it's tougher because like all you have is just drama and the everyday life of people in the modern times, in the modern age. So how can you progress the story to keep it entertaining? Obviously. Yeah. Some Sarah. Will you write their reading tomorrow? Yes, I will. I'm gonna write their reading tomorrow. Right now, I've been writing every day for the past like what 5-6 days. So far, I wrote like what? I wrote like 12 pages. Yeah, I wrote 12 pages of their unique so far. So I wrote for 6 days straight. So far, I've been consistent writing 2 pages. All you gotta do is just dedicate 2 pages a day, Ivan. That way you're not stressed out. In a good like 4 months, you'll finish your book, man. Yeah, next year, end of January 2026, I finish their unique. I make the announcement when I finish their unique, obviously. And now I wrote 2 books. That's more money for me. I love their unique. I know their unique's amazing. I'm saying. VJ might like their unique better than Zanus because it's a romance, but VJ will tell me, no, I like Zanus better. The Zanus was a better story than their unique by a bit, but I love their unique too. Their unique was amazing, but Zanus was better. Yeah, Zanus is a better book. But there are some fans you might think both are just as good, just equally as good, right? Because they're different genres. So you can't really compare their unique with Zanus because they're different genres, right? Like, can you really say a romance novel is better than a fantasy novel? The best way to compare a book is a book's in the same genre. That's the fairest way to compare it. But when I compare The Proposal, which sold 1 million copies and it was a huge hit, compared to Their Unique, I'm more hooked reading Their Unique than I am The Proposal. I'm just more drawn to the characters more. The characters on the page more. The story's more entertaining than The Proposal. And The Proposal is what is a New York Times best-selling book, man. Yeah. You think Their Unique is much better than The Proposal so far? No. Not much better, but I'm more hooked reading Their Unique than I am The Proposal. So far, anyways. But if the book is shit, I'm not going to release it. I keep saying that. If I mess up with Their Unique, I'm not going to release it, obviously. I'll just release Zanus. I'm sorry. That's good. That's more enough money for me, VJ, anyways. Samsara. After this, I'm going to go upstairs and put all the cans in my bag. You always collect cans? Yes, I do. I collect all the cans whenever I drink soft drinks, beer, and they put a bunch of water bottles upstairs and cans. I collect it all. Just in case I run out of money, I have like 150 cans. I can get a pack of smokes at the Super C. That's how poor I am. Even when I was working, I collected cans because it's money, right? I might as well collect it. I can get smokes for myself and beer. When you're king, will you be collecting cans? No. When I'm king, I won't collect cans. I won't need the cans. I won't need the cans. Or what I can do is me and VJ, we can collect the cans. We put it in a bag and then we give it to the homeless. I collect like 500 cans. I can give it to the homeless. That's like $50 for the homeless on the streets in Vancouver. Obviously, we can do that if you want. Share a little bit of charity if you want. VJ, do you want to collect the cans? Put it in a bag, and we have a bunch of cans. We just go down. We go to the shelter. We give maybe 1 bag of cans to the homeless. They can get maybe $10, $12 so they can get some food for themselves. You can do that if you want for a little bit of charity if you want. But I mean, most likely not. I'm not gonna do that already. Yeah. Yeah, no, I see a masterpiece in Their Unique so far. I know. You make me feel like I'm living a teenage dream. The way you turn me on, I can't sleep. Just run away and don't ever look back. Don't ever look back. Yeah. Which ties into the book, obviously. Dawn runs away with Josh at the end of the story. That's my idea. Do you have an idea how they run away? No, but I know I have an idea how I end the story. The story ends with they drive into the sunset, and she runs away with Josh, and they escape from their crazy friends and family. Obviously, yeah. And I ended off with like Megan and her family. Megan and Jake, they're like, yeah, we what we broke our. It finally hits them. Yeah, we broke our pact. You know what I'm saying? They're like oh, and do they regret their decision? No. I don't say that. Like we broke our pact or some of that, man. Those fucking assholes. Yeah, they're pissed off. Yeah, obviously. Some Sarah. to show that they're reprobate people, obviously. Yeah. Just like you guys are reprobate people. You're Messiah media. There you go. Or maybe it might end it with them they regret the decision. What do you guys think is better? Do you think it's better they were ending it off where they regret their decision, or they're just reprobate? They remain reprobate like those fucking assholes. They're reprobate people. Yeah, I don't know. I'll see how I want to end the story. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. You have an idea with Dawn's money? Yeah. Dawn goes to the bank when shit gets crazy, and she finds out that her family frees her assets for like maybe a year, and she can't access it, and she has to rely on the money that she made from the bar. And does not. Josh doesn't have much money either, and she remembers that her family gave her a $20,000 gift card. She's like, I have a $20 gift card. This is enough for us to get by, to start fresh or something like that. You're a genius, I know. That's my idea for the story. You're a creative. I know I'm a creative genius, obviously. They freeze her assets when she goes to the bank, obviously, uh, for like a year. She goes to the bank, she withdraws money. Dawn has, I don't know, like 2.53 million in her bank. And they're like, yeah, sorry, we can't access your bank account. Your assets are frozen. She's like, what? My assets are frozen. You know what I'm saying? She calls her parents. She's like, Mom, Dad, like, you know what I'm saying? My assets are frozen. They act like they had nothing to do with it. We don't know, honey. You know what I'm saying? We had nothing to do with that and all this stuff. They're lying and everything. Yeah, shit gets crazy. And my parents are the only ones who must have freeze my assets. Obviously. Yeah. Yeah. Gets crazy, obviously. My goal is for there need to be like dark, crazy romance where shit gets crazy. I want to make it as dramatic as possible. That way it's entertaining. See, that's always amazing fans on. But I'm trying my best. I'll see how I flow when I write the book. I'm not there yet. I'm still in the beginning of the story. We'll see what happens when I keep writing, obviously. But I'm not going to show you the big. I'll show you maybe a few big scenes. I'm not going to show you the big scenes, obviously. I won't spoil story for you. I'll show you all chapter one. When I finish it, that's it. The prologue and all the other chapters, I'll show you maybe 2 snippets per chapter, and that's it. 2, maybe 3 snippets per chapter, and I won't spoil story for you. Like a paragraph, and that's it, right? I will spoil story for you guys. Sarah? Yeah. Don't want to spoil story for you guys. And I hope my check comes in tomorrow, man. Fuck, man. I don't think my stepmother's gonna pay me money. Yeah. I offered to clean the walls for $12.50 tomorrow, but she might say no. I don't know. Obviously. Yeah. Give me a second, guys. I'm gonna go upstairs and make some coffee for myself. I'll be back in a sec. I should go to the show. Don't hang upset. Let's get rid of it up. guys, sorry for the wait. Went upstairs to make my coffee. So in a good like 6 minutes, I'm gonna go upstairs and get my coffee. I make fresh coffee upstairs. Yeah. Talk for about 45, 50 minutes. That's good enough for you guys, right? I made 5 videos today, so that's good enough. You think some fans think both books are just as good? Maybe. I highly doubt, though. Chances are most fans will say Zanus. Zanus is a better book than They're Unique. Obviously, because it's epic fantasy. Epic fantasy is just better than epic romance. Obviously. From what I've read from They're Unique and Zanus, Zanus is the better read by a bit. I'm more drawn to Zanus because I love the whole epic feel of the magical fantasy feeling of the Zanus world, obviously. But They're Unique is also amazing too. But I'm only in the beginning of They're Unique, so once she meets Josh, and that's when the drama starts. Obviously, that's when I'll see how good Zanus is compared to They're Unique. Even when I read They're Unique and Zanus, I don't really see that much of a drop in quality, man, because they're two different genres. So it's very tough to compare. It's tough to say which book is better, even though I think Zanus is a better read because they're two different genres, Ivan. You can't really say like one is better than the other because they're two different genres. Two different styles of writing, honestly. Yeah. Like it's the same author, so when you read both books, all the characters in both books are jumping on the page because it's the same author writing. Yeah, I can tell Ivan wrote this book too because the characters are jumping on the page when I read it, but it's a different style because it's a modern age. They don't speak Old English style speech. It's not a fantasy world. It takes place in a real location, Elmer, Quebec, in the English side. That's genius. I put that there. That way I don't have to worry about the plot holes, obviously, in the story. Because Elmer, Quebec is mainly French. So if Don and Josh and all them are hanging out all these places and they talk to people are speaking English all the time, that's a plot hole because most people in Elmer speak French. Every time, like when I walk downtown, I barely hear people speaking English. It's all French all the time. I hear people speaking English once in a while, but it's mostly French people. Obviously, but most people in Elmer, Quebec do understand English pretty well. Obviously, either a little bit or pretty well. But they mostly speak French all the time. You guys sincere? Yeah, I was just saying, yeah. Sincere? Yeah. That's my point. Sincere? But Zanus is a superior novel over They're Unique, obviously, to me personally, obviously. But I haven't finished They're Unique yet, so I can't really make that judgment, obviously. I have to write They're Unique to know which is better, obviously. But my guess is either Zanus will take the cake by a little bit. I don't think I'll ever top it over Zanus, but They're Unique will almost be as good. But again, you can't really compare They're Unique to Zanus because they're two different genres. The best way to compare a novel is a novel from the same genre. It's very tough to say a romance novel is better than a fantasy novel because they're two different genres. Like you guys some Sarah? Yeah. That's why when I say the best fantasy novels, I compare the novels in that genre. I don't say like this romance story is better than this fantasy book because it's a bad comparison. They're two different genres. It's an unfair comparison because romance novels have that disadvantage. They don't have a magical system. They don't have a huge villain. They don't have a bunch of access users. So it's unfair to say this romance story is better than this fantasy story with all the action sequences and the villains and the magic system. It's not a fair comparison. You have to compare books in the same genre. That's my answer, obviously. But there are some fans who do compare books from different genres to other genres too. Obviously. That's why like most of the time when I say Zanes will be the best novel written, I'm mainly talking about the fantasy genre. I'm not going to compare Zanus to like Stephen King and The Proposal because they're different genres. You guys some Sarah? Yeah, it's a bad comparison because they're two, you can't make that comparison. I've never written horror before. Stephen King is a horror writer. I'm not writing. Well, Zanus is horror, but it's horror fantasy, obviously. Because Zanus is horror too. You have the devil wolves and everything, but I mean, I'm not going to compare Zanus to Stephen King books because they're two different genres. Stephen King is in the horror genre. But Stephen King books are kind of fantasy too. But they're fantasy in the modern times, obviously. But it's not fantasy because Stephen King, his books take place in like real life locations. Some are fictional, obviously, but they take place in the modern times and real life locations. So it's not really fantasy, but it's like horror, a little bit of fantasy, Stephen King books. Obviously. Some Sarah, that's why it's a bad comparison. Catch some Sarah. Yeah, my coffee's ready, guys. Give me a second, guys. I'm gonna go just get my coffee. I'll be back in a sec. We gotta enjoy my show, don't hate him, son. Alrighty, guys. Ivan, what do these authors have over you in terms of talent? And they have the knowledge of the English literature, the words. Obviously, like I read a lot of these novels on fantasy writers, and I even go on romance book Reddits, and sometimes people post stuff about the book. The quality of their writing is better in terms of the choice of the English words, deeper, richer words. Half these words I don't understand, but I find if you do that, it's just confusing to the reader. You can confuse the reader if you do that. Me, I just keep it simple. I'm a simple writer because I don't know all these big English words as you guys read. When you guys read my book, I barely use all these big English words like this person hissed, this person did this. Like they try their best to wow. I think a lot of these authors, what they don't understand, in my opinion anyways, they think they're doing the reader a service by wowing them with their knowledge of the English literature, and that's how the story is entertaining. But I don't think that way. No. I think you wow the reader with just being simple and just telling an entertaining story. Just try to be simple and the best way, in my opinion, to tell an entertaining story, just be simple, man. Stop trying to wow the reader with your big words, man. Because that's what a lot of these people do. They just spend pages like wowing you with all these big words, which I find is a bit confusing. It's confusing to me personally because I don't have knowledge of the English literature. So all these words that they're using, I don't even know what half those words even mean, man. And that equals more boring. For me, I'm more simple. I just focus on the characters, telling a compelling plot. I'm simple, yet my story is very entertaining, obviously. Isaiah's is a simple fantasy novel. It's not really. It's not. I don't use all these big words in Zanus, as you guys read. It's pretty simple, but yet it's and the story's entertaining. Obviously, yeah, it's entertaining. Yeah, it's entertaining. Obviously, it's still more entertaining, right? Oh, yeah, yeah. Do the best editors in the business have that same problem? Yeah, they do. As all these books that are the best-selling books are edited by the best editors in the business, even though they're very talented, the editors, and they make the book better, they also have that same problem of trying to wow the reader with the big English words, which I find confusing. It can be confusing to the reader. If you don't have knowledge of the English literature, it can be confusing to the reader, and your book can feel a bit convoluted if that makes any sense. Because they're just dumping you with all these big English words. Like, yeah, it's beautifully written, but the story is not really progressing. They're just trying to wow you with the English literature. And you have this dialogue here and there, and the dialogue is pretty simple, but then they wow you with more big English words, like this lady hissed. And there was a huge tension and they have this like big like archaic English word to try to wow you with the English word, which I don't even know what that word even means. Beautifully written, but it's a bit boring, right? And the story's not really going anywhere. That's what I'm saying. Oh, I'm saying, yeah. Yeah. Some Sarah. Almost on it, guys. Yeah. I don't know. You saying you know more than the book editors who edit books. No, I'm not saying that. As those guys, the editors, the book editors have the gift of fixing a story. I don't have that gift, man. I can't fix someone else's story. The only way I can fix your story is writing the whole story, rewriting the whole story for you. That's how I fix your story. But I don't have the gift to catch what's not working in your book. I don't really have that gift. Like to catch what works, what doesn't. I don't have that gift that these editors have, obviously. But I have the gift of entertainment. I just know how to entertain you and entertain the shit out of you, obviously. That's my goal. I'm very simple. Like my goal is to just entertain the reader. I keep it simple and I just do my best to entertain the reader. I don't really care about using all these big words. No, I just do my very best to entertain the reader with my story. That's my goal, obviously. It's all about entertainment, right? That's an author going. So so Ivan, you catch that with all these books, well, a lot of books. Oh yeah, they use all these big words, man, for romance, especially fantasy, man. Oh my god, for fantasy, I read all these books on Fantasy Writers Reddit. These guys who write on Fantasy Writers Reddit are much better writers than me, man. I read their stuff, beautifully written English words, but the story is boring, right? It's not a lot of the story there is boring. It's not going anywhere, and the world building feels fake. It doesn't feel real. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't I don't get a magical feeling when I read it. Some of the stuff there's pretty good, but some of the stuff there is obviously not that great. Obviously, but it's more beautifully written than even my book in terms of the knowledge of English literature. Those guys are amazing writers, but they're not really great storytellers. There's a difference between being a great writer and a great storyteller. I'm not that great of a writer at all, as I don't have the knowledge of the USP of the English literature. That's why I'm not that great with grammar. I know the basics of grammar, but I'm not that great with grammar, and I'm not that great with downloading the USP of all these big English words. That's why when you read my book, it's very simple when you read it, obviously. But yet it's entertaining because I have the gift of storytelling, obviously. Obviously. Ivan, what's your advice to tell a good story? Okay, you want me to tell you the truth, guys? Yeah, be simple. Stop trying to be convoluted. Stop trying to use over convoluted words and complicated words. Obviously, just be as simple as you can. That's my first advice. Obviously, that's my advice. Yeah, be simple. Obviously, when you're right. All right, that's bad advice. No, guys, I know you think I'm crazy. No, man, just be simple, man. Be simple and just tell an entertaining story. Stop being blinded by the English, the knowledge of the English. They're trying to wow the reader with your amazing English. No, wow them with your story, not your English. But they don't get it, man. They don't get that through their heads, man. Stop trying to wow them with your English. No, wow them with your storytelling, not the English. Forget about the English. Just get the English literature, obviously, out of your writing. Focus on just telling an entertaining story. Yeah, but Ivan, that's how we tell an entertaining story, man. We gotta write beautiful English. No, it's not about writing beautiful English. It's about writing a beautiful story. It's not about the English literature, how you write your English. It's about how you write your story, how you write your characters. It's not about the English words, man. And just be simple, guys. Try to be as simple as you can with your writing, as I'm very simple with my writing. And yet my book, Zanes, as you guys have read, is a masterpiece, man. I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, Ivan, show us more. No, I'm not showing you any more. Zero. I'm not showing you more for Zanes. I will spoil so for you. Sarah. Yeah. Ivan, is Zayden's really entertaining from page 1 to the end of the book? Yes. The whole book is entertaining from the start of the prologue to the end of the story. I'm not lying, guys. You're going to be entertained for the whole book, turning the page for hours. I'm not lying. As everything I showed you guys was saying, for you guys hook, yes. The whole thing is entertainment, man, when you read it. Obviously. There are some chapters that are weaker than others, but they're still entertaining enough to keep you turning the page. As I guarantee you, some of my weakest chapters in my book are better than some of the best chapters in these other books that you guys read, man. Yeah, man. Like, the prologue is not that. It's my worst chapter in the book, and that was entertaining when you guys read it. Young Takis is arguably one of my weakest chapters in the book, too, and yeah, it's entertaining when you guys read it, obviously. Entertaining enough to keep you hooked, obviously. There are some scenes that are not as entertaining as others, as I showed you, but they're still entertaining enough to keep you hooked and turning the page. That's my point. Hooked enough to keep turning the page. Obviously, you always constantly want to know more when you read a book, because I know how to hook you and have you be on the edge of your seat when you read my book. Obviously, because I'm a genius. Obviously, I'm a great genius. I'm sorry. Almost in it, guys. Yeah. So, Ivan, that's your advice. Yes, be simple, obviously, and focus on your storytelling, not your storytelling art, your storytelling, telling, uh, your storytelling art form, not your written English art form, not your written art form. No, no, no. Forget about your written art form. No, your storytelling art form. Because a lot of writers, they think because they're amazing English writers, if they throw you all, if they use all these big English words, hopefully the reader's entertained. They're wowed by your literature. Yeah, they're wowed by your literature, your English literature, but your story is not great. It's not going anywhere. It's about the quality of your storytelling art, your three act structure for your story, your characters. It's about the entertainment of your storytelling, not the entertainment of how you write a story in English. You know what I'm saying? It's about the storytelling of the art of the storytelling form. And be simple, guys. I'm telling you right now, man. Just be simple when you write, man. When you write your story, and you're gonna get a more entertaining story. I know I'm doing. I know I'm saying, man. Be simple, man. Yeah. You guys are my theory. Do I use all these big words? No, you don't. But yet it's still it's entertaining shit. Yes, I know what I'm doing, man. It's entertaining shit. Sorry. Yeah. So are you saying the best editors in business they also fall for that trap too? Yeah, unfortunately they do because of the books that I read, the snippets that I read of all these amazing best selling books, I notice how even the authors who wrote that book, who had help from the best editors in business, I notice how a lot of them they try to wow you with the English words, obviously, which works. Obviously, a lot of those best selling books are amazing books. But when you read my book, you don't get that feeling. Yeah, Ivan's book is more simple. It's not Ivan doesn't use all these big words. I don't, man. I'm very simple when I write, as you guys read when I wrote Zanus. I'm a very simple writer, but yet my story is more entertaining to read when you read it. My fantasy series, obviously. Yeah, because I don't have the USB of the English words. I don't know. I don't know half those words those guys even use, and yet my book is more entertaining when you read. Don't hear him saying, yeah. Well, the editors do an amazing job. The best editors in the business who edit all these amazing books, they made the book better. You know what I'm saying? The fans love it. It's a bestseller. I get it. But even they fall into that trap of trying to wow you with a lot of the time with the English words. They try to be more, you know what I'm saying? Instead of just being simple, more simple like me, obviously. So I'm a very simple writer when I write. I'm very simple, you guys know what I'm saying? That's my advice. I'll call this video more about Ivan's books and his advice to aspiring authors, aspiring fantasy romance authors. Anyways, this is it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. I talked 50 minutes. That's good enough. So I remember I'm saying, peace. Don't hate him, I made 5 videos today. That's enough, guys. Peace out. Don't hate him,